Shalum, and welcome to the channel. My name is Symmanayah, and this is the last sequence of Seed to Harvest. Seed to Harvest was a series that it was designed to let individuals recognize there's a parallel between conception to birth and beyond, and natural life to our spiritual life, being born again and growing in maturity. It features some nuggets of encouraging things that can stir your spirit to those who are able to discern the words I've spoken in each series. In this final episode to this series, I want to say it is important for us to walk away knowing how valuable time is and how much time is short. There are more years behind most of us than what lies ahead of us in these earthen vessels, our bodies. With that said, let's get into this episode, Redeeming the Time. It is very important you keep in mind that the Almighty Father Yahuah is the beginning and the end. The enemy all too often cut portions off of what is right to deceive us. When he deceived Adam and Eve, he told them eating the tree of not good and evil will make them as the Almighty One. He didn't say to them they would not be able to bear the truth. He didn't say that it would be an act of rebellion. He didn't say that it would cause the fall of man. He didn't give them the full picture. And even to this day, there are many followers of shepherds and pastors and leaders in these camps and groups that are following these leaders that are giving you things in part. And a great correction is coming in these end times, my brothers and sisters. It is important that we begin to look at how we manage each opportunity that the Almighty Father gives us, and remember that He's the beginning and the end. Let me present some passages to you, for many people are quick to say, show me the script, show me the script. Not even realizing that sometimes, even if you see the script, we forget, so readily forget. Or we have problems comprehending what is being said and what is meant by what is said according to the truth. Revelation 21:6 says this. And he said to me, and I'm reading out of the scripture 2009 version, my sword. It says, and he said to me, it is done. I am the Aleph and the Tav, the beginning and the end. To the one thirst I shall give of the fountain of the water of life without payment. Here we see that Yahuwah is the Aleph and the Tav. If you go to that was Revelation 21:6. Revelation 22:13 reads, I am the Aleph and the Tav, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. I also want to present to you Deuteronomy 4:24. It says, for Yahuwah, your Almighty One, it says Elohim, I read it as Almighty One, is a consuming fire, a jealous all. That was Deuteronomy 4:24. Lets us know that the Almighty One is a consuming fire. With that said, my brothers and sisters, anything outside of set apartness cannot overcome or overpower He who is the Almighty One. A consuming fire puts things in its place. Hebrews 12:28 and 29 says, therefore receiving an unshakable rain, let us hold the favor through which we serve the Almighty One pleasingly with reverence and awe. For indeed our Almighty One is a consuming fire. My brothers and sisters, it is my position of belief that when we have differences, if we have the patience to explore the scriptures in whole and not in part, The things that surface and survive are the things that are true and set apart. So many people would rather cut off and stop and not dig and examine, thoroughly examine our differences when they exist. And as a result of this, they walk away misled or misunderstanding what is true. If a brother or sister truly wants to be united together in set apartness, we must be able to explore all the scriptures and discern the life in them with the intent of improving our set apart life as the Spirit of Yahusha teaches us. Come with me to John chapter 1, verse 1 through 5. It says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the Almighty One, and the Word was the Almighty One. He was in the beginning with the Almighty One. All came to be through him, and without him not even one came to be that came to be. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. The Word that was manifest before us, Yahuwah's Word, came in the name of Yahusha. All that I've presented to this point requires time, my brothers and sisters. End times are here, and every minute spent is a demonstration of redeeming time. What we say, what we do, how we treat each other. It's like spending currency, but more, and not being able to get a refund, even if we desired to. It is important that we begin to realize, Yahusha, that each of us will discover tasks that the Almighty Father has for us. And those tasks must be met with wisdom and discipline. Soon and very soon, my brothers and sisters, and even now there are those who are scrambling with a sense of urgency, but soon and very soon, a sense of urgency will flourish across this world. And in that urgency, I want to bring to mind Colossians 4, 5, and 6. It says, walk in wisdom toward those who are outside, redeeming the time. Let your word always be with favor, seasoned with salt, that you know how you ought to answer each one. You see, my brothers and sisters, redeeming the time. We're going to stumble and we're going to make mistakes. And even as the sense of urgency ramp up, people will be scurrying, searching for the living orders of the Almighty Father. People will be moving. We will find ourselves relocating, many of us. And I believe all those who would be physically alive up until almost the last minute will face some form of displacement and movement. Come with me to 1 Thessalonians 5, 16 through 23. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 16 to 23. It reads, rejoice always, pray without ceasing. This is mean communicate, have an eye and ears to hear what the Spirit of the Almighty Father has to say to us. Pray and discern what the Almighty Father would have us do when we're talking to one another. Pray without ceasing means communicate. And by the Almighty Father being in us, working in us, through us, one towards another, that brings a degree of prayer. For his Spirit is in us, working a good thing to his desire. It says, in all circumstances, give thanks, for that is the desire of the Almighty One and Messiah Yahusha for you. Do not quench the Spirit. Do not despise prophecies. Prove them all. Hold fast to what is good. Keep back from every form of wickedness. And the Almighty One of peace himself set you completely apart. And your entire spirit, being in body, be preserved blameless at the coming of our Master Yahusha Messiah. End times are here. Let us understand that with each moment, we are redeeming the time as a result of the breath that the Almighty Father has given us for this moment. Are we satisfied what we're doing with this life that we have? Are we working diligently to discern what is expected of us while we yet breathe? We must begin to realize that as each day passes, we cannot regain the minutes lost. We cannot hit rewind, and sometimes we miss the opportunity to demonstrate repentance to the ones we have harmed. So let us walk carefully, my brothers and sisters. Also, we move towards our final days. As we move to these final days that will differ for each of us, let us remember Luke 17, verses 26 through 30. Luke 17 chapter, verses 26 through 30 says, "And as it came to be in the days of Noah, so also shall it be in the days of the son of Adam. They were eating, they were drinking, they were marrying, they were given in marriage until the day Noah went into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. And likewise, as it came to be in the days of Lot, they were eating, they were drinking, they were buying, they were selling, they were planting, they were building. But on the day Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and sulfur from heaven and destroyed all. It shall be the same in the day of the Son of Adam is revealed." You see, many of us are aware of what happened during the days of Noah and probably even Lot. But how many of us knew that Lot's son-in-law, they thought he was joking about destruction that was coming? Do not for a minute disregard that we have entered into end times. The end of the age is here. Come with me, Yahusha, to Genesis 19, verses 12 through 14. Genesis chapter 19, verses 12 through 14 reads, "And the men said to Lot, 'Have you anyone else here, a son-in-law, and your sons and your daughters, and whoever you have in the city, bring them out of this place. For we are going to destroy this place, because the cry against them has grown great before the face of Yahuah, and Yahuah has sent us to destroy it.' And Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law, who had married his daughters, and said, 'Get up, get out of this place, for Yahuah is going to destroy this city.' But the sons-in-law seemed to be as one joking. He seemed to his son-in-laws, he seemed to be as one joking." What we do when it comes to redeeming time will be the proof of our decisions. In other words, where we find ourselves standing or moving to will be a result of how we chose to redeem the time that is before us. As for some, there will be no second chances. In other words, there will not be a rewind. Take this walk serious, my brothers and sisters. Another example that occurred without a second chance is Numbers 16th chapter. I will take you to the passage in part that I am referencing. The 16th chapter of Numbers. I just want to read part of it, my brothers and sisters. And I want to emphasize decisions were made and there were no rewinds. And it led to the death of many. 16:28 through 35. Numbers 16:28 through 35 reads, "And Moshe said, By this you know that Yahuah has sent me to do all these works, that they are not from my own heart." This was a time when there was a group that questioned the leadership, questioned Moshe, Musha, and Aharon. They challenged, why should he be leading? And this is the response led up to these responses that I'm reading. Moshe said, if these die as all men do, or if they are visited as all men has visited, then Yahuwah has not sent me. But if Yahuwah creates what is unheard of, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them up with all that belongs to them, plural, and they go down alive into Sheol, then you shall know that these men have scorned Yahuwah. And it came to be as he ended speaking all these words that the ground under them split apart. And the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their households and all the men with Korah and all their goods. So they and all those with them went down into the grave, and the earth closed over them, and they perished from the midst of the assembly. And Israel, who were round about them, fled at their cry, for they said, lest the earth swallow us up too. And fire came out from Yahuwah and consumed the 250 men who were offering incense. So Korah, and if you read at the beginning of the chapter, you'll see it was Dathan and Abiram. And it says, their households and all men with all their goods were swallowed up. Clearly, Dathan, Abiram, and Korah did not get a second chance. End times will produce many situations where we will not get a second chance. Let us take the steps to be confident in our decisions. Let us begin to redeem the time wisely. O Yasharal, I cannot stress it enough. I want to show you another instance where a second chance did not occur. Acts 5th chapter, verses 1 through 12. Come with me there. Acts 5th chapter, verses 1 through 12. 1 through 11, rather. It reads, but a certain man named Hananiah and Sapphira, his wife, sold a possession. It was their possession to sell. And he kept back from the price. His wife, also being aware of it, brought a certain part and laid it at the feet of the emissaries. And Kepha said to Hananiah, why has Satan filled your heart to lie to the set-apart spirit and keep back from the price of the land for yourself? While it remained, did it not remain your own? And after it was sold, was it not in your authority? Why have you conceived this deed in your heart? You have not lied to men, but to the Almighty One. See, we sometimes do things and don't realize what we're doing. But sometimes it can be fatal. We will begin to see that in days ahead, today, and days going forward, in present day time. It said, then Hananiah, hearing these words, fell down and breathed his last breath, and breathed his last, and great fear came upon all those who heard this. But the young men arose and wrapped him up and carried him out and buried him. And it came to be about 3 hours later that his wife came in, not knowing what had taken place, and Kepha responded to her, say to me whether you sold the land and for how much. And she said, yes, for so much. So Kepha said to her, why have you agreed to try the spirit of Yahuwah? Look, the feet of those who have buried your husband are at the door, and they shall carry you out. And immediately she fell down at his feet and breathed her last. And the young men came in and found her dead, and carrying her out, they buried her beside her husband. And great fear came upon all the assembly and upon all who heard this. Do we believe the scriptures to be true? Do you not know in James 1, first chapter, I believe it's 1:17, it talks about Yahuwah changes not? Do we believe that some of the same things that happened in days of old could happen again? I mentioned the fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of knowledge. I speak of Proverbs 1:7 all too often. Let us consider instructions to pause and weigh all decisions before acting or reacting to situations. Let us carefully manage our time. Look at what we're doing with our time. For soon and very soon, We will begin to value our time much better. Redeeming time is akin, as I said, to spending without being able to get a refund. All too often, we might not want a refund. Seek to discern and understand how to make better decisions, Yahusha. Have discussions on what to expect and setting priorities for emerging demands. Look around, Yahusha. It's getting intense, and it will get more intense. And it will become more intense, and it will get to that point at every doorstep of every physical living being. I leave you with these words. Seek the full understanding of redeeming time. By doing so, it will reduce the heartache and pain that many will face in the days ahead. Lift your head up and be encouraged, my brothers and sisters. Redeeming the time. Look at it like this. In Deuteronomy 8:3, it lets us know we do not live by bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Almighty Father. So it's by His word we have another breath, another heartbeat. We are alive. We are walking in the midst of time, demonstrating how the Almighty Father is making us better, preparing us for coming closer together. Let us not spend time squabbling, grumbling, and disputing. If we are in disagreement and cannot reach resolve, step away from one another and put the matter before the Almighty Father and watch Him bring correction that may restore us together. And it may not. But do not continue to contend with compromising communities, fellowships, or groups, or camps. For the scripture says, no house divided against itself shall stand. So if you are one that know that there are many different cliques within your community, camp, group, come out of there unless you believe the Almighty Father is directing you to introduce correction. Major corrections are coming, and we will not have a lot of time to be fighting and disputing. Let us learn the strategies that it takes to discern or position ourselves to discern what the Spirit of Yahuah, who comes in Yahusha's name, revealed to us. That's all I have. And this concludes the series, Seed to Harvest, redeeming the time from conception to birth beyond. Life, being born again, growing in maturity. Every footstep, every movement of the body is a redeeming of the time. What will you do going forward? Are you prepared? I have many more messages, but this concludes this series. I thank you if you've listened to every single episode. I salute you. I salute your hunger and desire to gain more information that will strengthen and encourage you, my brother, my sister. And I pray for your strength. I pray for our strength. I pray that we're able to discern what must be done, what will be done. Brace for the fulfillment of what has been promised. And I leave you with these words. Shalom, my brother, my sister, my family. Shalom.